and get started. So hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on our 10 Capital Quick Pitch. We have a great show for you today. We have 8 companies coming up to present, and we have 2 awesome panelists who have joined us today. And our CEO, Hall Martin, will also be on the panel. The way it's going to work is those 8 companies are going to give a 5-minute pitch each. And then we're going to move into a 3-minute Q&A session with our panelists. Anybody in the audience, any investors out there who want to ask questions as well, you're welcome to do so through the chat. We're going to stick to our panelists at first. If we have time, we'll get to your questions, but please do ask them. You guys are just as much a part of this as our panelists. So we're happy to follow up with you guys after as well, if you're interested in any of our companies. But with that, I'll go ahead and introduce our panelists. So Mike, do you want to give a short intro about yourself?
Sure, yeah. Shane, thanks for having me. Mike Gilveri, I'm a partner at Ember Fund. What Ember Fund does is we invest in mostly inventory, and we take the inventory off your books and give you some more working capital. The check size is usually 250 to 2 million, and we recycle. So, once you pay us back, we give you the money back. So we do a lot of consumer, we do some tech, we do health and wellness. We're pretty much in the consumer world with a little bit of tangential stuff. Yeah, and that's a little bit about us.
Great, and David?
Yeah, I'm vice chairman of Tech Coast Angels. Tech Coast Angels is one of the largest angel investment groups. We've been around for about 26 years. We have 400 members. Last year, we invested in 55 deals, 40 new, 15 follow-on, about $20.5 million. Over the years, we've invested in about 500 companies, something like that, and maybe a little less. We are non-discriminatory. We focus on a variety of areas, particularly in the healthcare, SaaS, IoT, FinTech, MarTech, Health Tech, EdTech, and probably cyber.
Great. And then Hall, do you want to give a brief intro as well?
Yeah, I'm Hall Martin. I'm the CEO of 10 Capital, and we've been in business for over 10 years, helping startups connect with investors and helping angel groups find members and helping angel funds find limited partners. So we're in the funding as a service model. And thank you guys for joining us today. We have some great deals for you to review, and looking forward to your feedback afterwards. Shane?
Awesome. Thanks, Hall. So with that, we're going to just get started with our presentation. So I'm going to invite With up, and that should be Brian. Go ahead. If you have slides, go ahead and share them. And whenever you're ready, I'll go ahead and start your time.
Okay, sounds good. So my name is Brian Ferris. I am the VP of Investment for With. Our founder and CEO, Cal, is also on the call, and he's asked me to run through the quick introduction, and then he'll jump on for Q&A and different things like that. So thank you for taking the time to review With. This is a new closed loop rideshare app exclusively for college and university communities. At this point, I'm sure we're all familiar with rideshare apps, but college campuses and college communities are a vastly underserved market segment in the rideshare industry. Now, the rideshare industry is an industry where global consumer spending is expected to be over $937 billion by 2026, which is an increase from $147 billion this year, representing 537% growth. But in many ways, college students represent the most valuable market segment, as this is the group with the highest adoption rate and the most lifetime value. With was built exclusively to address their unique needs for on and around campus. The number one concern for parents as they send their child off to college, and the top priority for universities and colleges, is student safety. Safety is our business model. We have created a better, safer rideshare app. Students want to feel safe, and their parents and administrators need to be able to sleep at night, confident that the students will be able to move around campus and over longer distances safely. So we build an app from the ground up based on student safety for this generation. How do we do this? Simple. Our platform is based on a closed loop, campus-specific system, wherein all users are vetted through multiple channels, and our current students, faculty, and staff They're members of the same community. The greatest safety element is simply going with those that you know, those that are in your own community. In fact, one of the vetting tools is through partnerships with campus organizations that provide users, riders and drivers, and then they get a revenue share. Major universities recognize the value of safer rideshare that is built exclusively for them. We currently have 23 major universities from across the nation representing over 1 million users in various stages. Our initial launch at the University of Alabama is underway, and we will be full scale this fall. And we've commenced discussions with Georgia Southern University and the application process for the states of Georgia and Arizona. Georgia Southern, we're actually talking about a university-sponsored program, which is what we'll get into. So there's multiple revenue opportunities for WITH. The business to consumer, which are just the campus community app-based rides, which we're all familiar with. That's what Lyft, that's what Uber do. Also business to business, wherein a university sponsors our program, including a site safe ride program. As an example, the University of Georgia just announced a partnership with Lyft to provide a nightly rideshare program for students from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is one component of an $8.5 million investment that they're making over the next 3 years to enhance campus safety. The agreement allocates up to $1 million annually, $3 million over 3 years, to their Ride Smart program. Participants ride in a Lyft vehicle, and up to half of the cost, or up to $5 per ride, is paid by the university. Each student will be allotted 4 rides per month. So this shows that it's an opportunity. This is an opportunity, this campus base that they're jumping into. There's a large underserved segment of a growing rideshare market. It's wide open and clamoring for a leader. A market segment that we can come into immediately and dominate, because many colleges and universities are in smaller cities and not within metro areas that are not areas where our competitors want to focus, as their revenue models require more density. We're targeting over 1,000 colleges, while Uber only operates in 263 cities across the country. WITH has built a one campus at a time model, and we scale campus by campus, and we get a big jump up with each university we add, either through consumer rides or a university sponsored program. We've already raised over $500,000 from family and friends and investors who have joined the team. Those sacred dollars have been used to complete the fully ready technology platform. In this round of funding, we're seeking $2 million. What are the funds going to be used for? Well, initially, the full-scale launch at the University of Alabama, then expansion to the next several states, including Georgia, Arizona, and Utah. So WITH has a fully functioning team providing a strong foundation for hypergrowth, expansion, and scalability, over 200 years of startup experience. It was important to the founding team to cover all the functions and get a team that was ready to scale quickly and beat potential competitors in this market. Each employee is on a sweat equity agreement at this point, investing in the future of the company. Our founder, Cal, is always ready, willing, and able to discuss further and answer any questions you may have. WITH is different. We are serving a different market, a different customer segment, and using a different model. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Go WITH.
Great, thanks for that, Brian. So we ran over a little, so we'll give you just about short of 3 minutes of Q&A, but Cal, I believe you're gonna go ahead and do the Q&A.
Yes, I'm ready.
Great, and before we get to that, I just wanna remind anybody who's presenting to keep your video and mic off until it's your turn to come up here. So go ahead and do that if you are not. And with that, I'll start your Q&A. David and Mike, go ahead.
I mean, I have a few questions. University of Alabama, don't they have Lyft and Uber down there?
Yes, they do. They did actually.
So why would I use you? Or maybe there's something special. I'm trying to give you a softball here. Are you now allowing them to pay through the university account? Are you monitoring? So when somebody signs up, you have a closed app, it's already paid through the university account. I also don't understand why you want to limit it to 4 rides. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me, but. And what if it's on campus or off campus? I mean, there's just lots of issues relating to competition that just, are swirling in my head. but I can see where you can wall off something, but I just don't get it right now.
Sure. Well, thank you for that question, David. First of all, we offer two separate systems for the students' mobility aspect. One is rides around campus. We keep our rides basically 3 miles for the University of Alabama, 3-mile radius. That covers about 99% of the housing, the campus itself, as well as the business district. What's unique about us is all of our drivers and all of the users are from the university itself. So all of our drivers are going to be either students, faculty, or staff, and all the users are students, faculty, and staff. We have heard from the university, from all of the sororities, from all of the fraternities and Student Government Association, that there is a tremendous amount of fear of people using Uber and Lyft, especially after 10 p.m. So we are basically, when we talk to them about the closed loop system, they love that aspect of it. The other aspect of it, David, is, as a result of your question, is 59% of the University of Alabama are from out of state, and they travel through the airports of Birmingham, which is 60 miles away, or Atlanta. They have about 16,500 students with cars on campus. So during the times, let's say Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., when they're traveling, they will be able to carpool together, whether all the way home or to drop off people and make money at these different airports.
But you won't pick the people up at the airport.
Yes, the students that are coming back actually will be able to pick up the students, and we will have drivers that will go pick them up and bring them back.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, to give you an example, right now, if they want to use Uber and Lyft to go to Birmingham Airport, it would be $125 per student. For ours, it's going to be around 40 to 45 because we're a pool.
Got it. Okay, thanks. One day I'd like to see the financials, by the way. I don't think you showed them.
Sure.
How do you plan on addressing the friction around like the disjointed university model in general? Just they all kind of work individually. They're all kind of scattered all around the country. Like there's a lot of logistics that go into just not just getting the client, but also managing it and upkeep and all the other stuff. How do you plan on addressing that?
So, sure, that's a great question. I mean, out of the 4,400 colleges and universities right now in the US, we're focusing on a little over 1,000 of them. And typically we're looking at the different states, and we've already identified all of the states that are business friendly to their rideshare business, if you will. Carpooling right now in America, there are no rules and regulations for carpooling. So we are focusing on a number of states, initial states. As Brian has said, we've already got our TNC permit at the university in the state of Alabama. We're in the process of getting it in Georgia. So when we look at a state, we're looking at how many different universities that we can service in that state, and how much is a TNC license, and how easy is it to get. That's the primary way that we're looking at the business model, Mike, versus any other trying to sit there and look at all the different universities. As Brian has mentioned, there are two aspects to this. One is what we're looking for is obviously the students
Al,
are.
I need just to wrap that point up real quick, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Sure. Just looking at the University of Alabama, 40,000 trips per week. They were using Lyft, and they were paying anywhere from $20 to $40. Our price within that 3-mile radius is only $7.
Great. Thank you for answering that. You also answered my follow-up question, which was what's the economic value of a place like Alabama? Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Brian and Cal, and we'll make connections afterward where necessary, like I said. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Todd from ADOH.
Okay, well, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the time. I'm Todd Hardman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Health Connects. We've been around for about 6 years now. Recently, we merged with ADOH Technologies to create a platform that's got some incredible unique capabilities. In effect, what we do is fill the data gaps in the healthcare industry that are rather pervasive with really unique patient insights. Let's talk a little bit about that and how we get here. At the top, there's this overwhelming belief that big data is a secret to what's going on in healthcare today to help solve many of the problems. It's not that big data is not particularly great. It's that it doesn't directly mitigate risk, improve health outcomes, and lower the cost of care at a direct way at a per patient level. But contextual patient data does, and that's what we produce. at the top of the chart, Forrester, if you will, as an expert industry research organization, calls the fact that shareable data, unreliable and latent data continue to be a plague in the industry, as well as actionability of information. And this leads to the care management advances that are expected at this point to be very challenged. We go directly to these issues. So what we do is we create correlation, we curate the data, we generate that data and share it for three big determinants of health. That's prescription, that's social, and behavioral determinants of health for each individual patient. And we personalize that information through our digital transformation and insights platform, and we push those to where they're needed in real time to the point of care. This is a critical aspect to what really affects health. And what really affects health are the modifiable determinants. The modifiable determinants are what the University of Wisconsin pointed out a few years ago, that primarily the social, the clinical, the health behaviors, and the physical environmental factors are what makes up modifiable areas of every person. Well, we attack 90% of those. We can't change the environmental factors, but we can, in fact, modify and uniquely support what's going on with prescription data, with social data, and with behavioral data. That gives us a very powerful component of 90% of the modifiability for every patient. So what we do here is apply the consilience principle with these data to perform specific in-context insights with social, with prescription that we get on each individual patient, and with the behavioral layer. We apply the consilience principle, which has to do with the power of three. Doesn't necessarily mean three, it could mean 10. And that means that our insights we derive become very much pronounced through our engine, giving insights that are very much unique and specific to go to the things that we talked about at the beginning, which are about those actionability and performance metrics for each patient. In practice, what this does is give the practitioners patient-specific insights at the point of care when and where they're needed to empower what they need to go to mitigate risk and improve that patient outcome event. We do this in three methods. We have a very unique behavioral insights tool. We call it our emotional download vehicle. This gives us a ability for every patient to survey real time using a reimbursable CMS code in only 90 seconds. And that gives us 8 deliverables, 8 stress points that every patient has. These affective determinants we score individually with a unique aspect and gives that unique score. We combine that with the prescription insights. That's current and real-time prescription data, not just the name of the drugs, but what's going on behind the scenes with those drugs. Is the patient adherent? Are they ready or not for pickup? But more importantly, are there conflictions in the medication therapy, such as duplicative medications or medications that aren't being seen within the EMR? Our reach and range through our connectivity through networks allows that real-time to occur on every patient, so it's all visible. And we do the same with social insights. These three, prescription, behavioral, and social, give us that unique aspect. And in social determinants as well, it's patient-specific and in real time. We combine these three aspects to bring it all together to show what comes from the emotional download vehicle, from our social and data inputs. Then we correlate that data and present it right back to the real-time provider in real time. That gives exactly what the industry's been needing and what the industry to date has simply not been able to get to. So in spite of current trends with the economic pressures around the globe, digital health remains a powerful force in the US domestic marketplace, expected to be a $550 billion industry, growing at about 27% per year. So from an investor standpoint, our business model is very simple, efficient, and scalable, and that our customer are well-established channel partners. Those who've already invested the heavy hits and run to get to penetration in the market. We work with those partners because they've already done the work to get to the payers that are driving at-risk programs, population health, and health systems. And we connect them to our platform through multi-service contracts for transactional price, per member per month for population, or a licensing agreement. That way we can move very efficiently and scale on a two-sided network model where demand and supply become equally dependent on each other.
So Todd, you're over your time right now. So I didn't know if you already mentioned the deals, the terms of your deal, but if you want to just go to that and then we'll go straight into the Q&A.
Sure. So our bridge deal right now is to a bridge financing. We have a $1 million offer at a 6% and $8 million valuation cap at a 15% discount.
Great. And then with that, we'll go into about a 2.5-minute Q&A. You went a little bit over there. So David and Mike, whoever wants to begin that, you can go for it.
I can ask. So I think one of the biggest challenges in healthcare is just that there's a lot of stuff coming from a lot of different places. So when you think about the actual patient filling out that application with an SMS, how are you thinking about the adoption of that SMS when it happens? How important is that to the three pieces? Like if we didn't have the patient fill that out, would we still be able to garner a lot of that other information? And the second part is that information available in the EMR, or is that come from somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we are not dependent on the EMR data itself, first of all. So those dependencies through what is nationally known as this interoperability push is a very important thing. However, it's not happening in a real effective way at today's point of care when the value-based contracts that are being adopted at a fast rate and where performance on those contracts is critical path, they're not getting the real data to beat that. And that includes EMRs and all these big analytics platforms that are taking big data that are large, but they're not patient specific and they can't apply them to the point of care. Therefore,
so then Todd, let me refine my question then. So
yes,
then where is the data coming from that's not related to the patient filling out?
Sure. So we have national networks that we connect with. I helped build one of them. The other is a national source of truth for the social. And we have a proprietary platform for the behavioral where we collect that data in real time as real world evidence from a patient survey. It takes 90 seconds to produce that information.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what is the adoption on it? How many customers do you have? What was the revenue in 2021? What's your year-to-date revenue in 2022? Because, I mean, while digital health is a big market, your numbers are pretty okay. You're really in a subset of this area, so I'm really trying to get it down to the actual potential user and target and determine whether or not the dogs are eating the dog food, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, by targeting the digital health platforms that are across the industry, we're not targeting a vertical, if you will. It's a horizontal play. So every platform that's promoting a population model, a adherence problem, or medication therapy problem, all have the same issues of having that real-time data at the time they're servicing the patient, or when they're doing their analysis for care management and the sequencing of patients. The gaps are they're not getting the information in time to use it.
I get all that part. I mean,
Sure.
what's your actual number of customers?
Yes,
what's
sir.
your revenue in 2021 and 2022 year to date?
Yes, sir. We have 5 customers to date. Revenue to date this year is 150,000. Last year we were about 45 to 50,000 at year end.
Okay, and what's your go-to-market plan to start generating? Well, I'd love to see financials. I mean, most of us would.
Yes, sir.
But what's your goal to grow your revenue? What's your go-to-market strategy?
Yes, sir. So we are right now working and collaborating with many patient-centric digital platforms where they know that they do not have data that do what ours do. So we're working with a large pipeline set of those patients platforms right now. So the scalability here is that we don't have contingencies on sales churn rates at long-term levels. So we can go quickly to platforms that already know our model. They know how to apply these data. Our sales cycles are much more compressed from typically a year down to 6 months or less. So our strategy is to optimize those channels by many different means that we have access to today.
Yeah, so if I were to look at something down the line, I would want to see, feedback from the customers and things like that, because right now it's debatable in my mind because I can't really understand who's using it, why they're using it, the feedback and all. Just
Whether
don't-
using it for patient adherence directly,
We're
et cetera.
gonna go ahead and cut off. We're gonna cut off the Q&A there, but like I said, we can connect y'all after if you want to chat more about that stuff. So thank you so much for presenting though, Todd. We're gonna move
Indeed.
on to the next one,
Yes, indeed.
which is gonna be Lumen Co.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, I'll start your time.
Okay, great. Yeah, hi, I'm Mark Raymond. I'm co-founder of Lumenco. And as you saw, maybe the shot of the conference room, this is our first pitch through this platform. So some of my team is in here, my co-founder Hector Porras and a bunch of the other guys. So Lumenco is not a startup. It's about 10 years old, but we're just now coming out of what I'll call pre-revenue into revenue. We are positive cash flow, so we don't burn cash. And our products are finally going to be hitting the market. We'll talk about that in just a second. So that's my Latin friend, Hector. He's the co-founder. He's an engineer. I'm more on the physics side. And we started this company, like I said, about 10 years ago. So as I said, Lumenco is a micro-optic company, but I don't want to get into the weeds too much with the short amount of time that we have here. We are in a bunch of different areas and it can be confusing, but suffice it to say that all of them have a common bond in micro-optics, and microstructures, nanostructures, and those areas. And we'll get into a little bit some of the different revenue streams, but mostly for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to talk about currency a lot and where we are as a currency feature provider, which is very rare for a small company. So Lumenco has a specialty in micro-optics, as I said, and micro-mirror products. But if you recognize the $100 bill has the micro-optic blue stripe in it, Lumenco has a more sophisticated version of that type of technology that's being launched into the marketplace. Roughly $20 million has been spent on these features with our partners, and we'll talk about our partners in a minute, but it's impressive, we think, as a small company, because it's a very difficult industry to get into, to have the partners that we have in the currency area, which are some of the biggest in the world. And the feature pictured right here is a Lumenco micro-optic, first ever full color micro-optic feature just being launched in the marketplace by our licensee Ferris in Germany. So as I said, we have dozens of patents in dozens of countries, probably about 40 or so. And we have had a contract with the United States government and for currency feature development on and off for about 5 years, which had its good points and bad points, by the way. But at the end of the day, when COVID hit, we ended up with our technology back, and they didn't continue with the contract simply because we couldn't get equipment time to print our features. And that's an important point because governments right now are printing more currency than ever. This is some of the team, myself, Hector, Michael German, who's actually sitting in here today. So we have everything, the key components covered in the sciences, I think, and we have a very experienced team. We talk about the deals that we have and the license agreements in place now. Our joint venture partner is Koenig and Bauer Banknote Solutions. They make virtually all of the equipment that produces currency throughout the world. That joint venture is about 7 years old. And then we have licensed products into that joint venture that are licensed to companies like Ferris, who's the biggest feature provider in the world. We have other types of agreements with Silicon Valley company named Miraviz, a new agreement with Bixby International in lighting, and Accesos Holográficos in Mexico in brand protection. So we have all these different revenue streams. We have them all moving right now. This is a little bit about what I was just talking about, but if anybody has questions, we can get back to this. This is where we are. We're about a $2 million run rate. We had about 200,000 EBITDA last year. The year before, about $500,000. But it's now projected to go up. 2022, we're at about $1 million right now. So we don't spend more than we take in. And we're really, our main revenues in licensing are happening in the next few years. So we're doing a 5% preferred stock pre-investment valuation of 40 million. And this is a 5% dividend preferred for 3 years. And we're looking for up to $6 million. That's it.
Great. So we'll move into the Q&A. That was right at about 5 minutes there. As we're getting into the Q&A, I think it'd be beneficial just to keep the answers tight so that we can get as many questions in there as we can. But yeah, with that, we'll start the 3 minutes. So David and Mike.
David, please.
All right, so yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I have 2 quick questions, and they're short answers, please. Why are you all of a sudden going to hit this magical hockey stick jump, like a 3x revenue from 2022 to 23? That's number one. What's going to be the precipitating factor? Using the money to buy a whole bunch of salespeople, more agreements. The second and probably more important thing from an angel point of view is you're running at about $3.5 million or $2 million, whatever the number is, below the 5 mil mark, yet your valuation is 40. And that seems to be on the high side from my point of view, substantially, said bluntly.
Yeah, those are great questions. And I think that the revenue, you have to realize that we have today, we kind of have been eating off of R&D and surviving off of that. We haven't had any products in the marketplace because it takes so long, especially in the currency area, to get governments to adopt and also get the right partners in. So as all of our partners and us have spent money, especially in Europe, we now finally have these products ready to go. For an example, Ferris, who is launching our feature, Kinegram Dynamic, right now, they spent about 5 million just in testing and getting it to market. And our partners, Clinic and Barrow, spent another 5 million. So this all takes time. And the reason that we have the big jump in revenue, and it's not just revenue, it's royalty revenue. So there aren't many costs associated with it, is that it's finally coming out on the market. It really takes a long time to develop it, what we call produce exemplars, to be able to go out and produce it. So for instance, we're testing for a major North American currency in November. Just that one banknote would provide about $100 million in royalty revenue to Lemenko over the next 10 years. So the prizes are big, and the development is really slow, which is frustrating.
Got it. Thank you.
Just a follow-up question to what David asked. What are you guys going to use the money for?
We have the technology that we developed with, trying to keep this simple, but the technology we developed with the Bureau, we ended up with it back. So what we're doing now is we want to participate in an investment in a venture with one of our joint venture partners to have our own thread factory, not just get royalties, but get part of the profits, because these products tend to have very, very high margins. They're all patented. So, 80% margins in these currency threads. So we want to be in a better position to buy equipment, to buy our half of that venture, if you will. So we not only get royalties, but we get part of the profits. We want to be at the table in a little bit different way than we've been able to do lately.
Great. Thank you for that, Mark and the Lemenko team. That's going to end our Q&A, and we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, I appreciate you guys presenting.
Thank you,
Next,
guys.
Thank you. Yeah, next, we're going to bring up Jake from Groundbreaker.
Hey, I'm Jake Marmelstein, the founder and CEO of Groundbreaker. So I came from the real estate investment world underwriting distressed hotels before I started Groundbreaker. And I was very frustrated with the workflow. It's a lot of friction. There's a lot of different tools people use, and most real estate investors use Excel. And what it means is that they spend a lot of their time managing Excel, updating data, copy and pasting data and information, and it sucks out your time and reduces your productivity, especially when you're a person who loves to do deals and focus on finding properties, finding good deals, and raising capital for your investments. So we created Groundbreaker, which consolidates all the different tasks that an operator has to do for their investor relations and their fundraising, all in one system. And that system makes it more efficient, makes it more transparent. It adds a professional quality. It increases compliance. It saves 80 hours per deal, and it saves you from having to hire more people into your team, which stacks onto your overhead. So a lot of these folks want to remain lean. Groundbreaker lets them do that and unlock productivity and professionalism. And so the investor portal, this is a software that's already built. We have customers and traction. The portal is clean and easy for an LP to go in, look at deals, invest, see their portfolio, find all their documents. The GP portal is really easy for them to complete tasks like fundraising for a deal or sending out distribution payments to investors. And our core focus are these small partnerships and small teams in the commercial real estate segment. We're giving them structure. We're helping increase their ability to do more deals. We're giving them expertise from our team, and then we're unlocking efficiency as they get more properties and more investors. They can do more with less. And our long-term vision, so at its foundation, it's a tool. But as you continue to stack, we sell professional services to our customers. We can sell them access to capital, access to deal flow, and other things as we expand up the value chain. So what our market is right now is a $4 billion market. There's 800,000 real estate investors who raise capital for real estate projects in the US, sold at a $5,000 contract value. As we continue offering new products and services, building upon the core investor management software we have now, we increase our market size and we increase our annual contract value of what we're selling. And today, our business model is $5,000 a year for 2 seats on our investment management software. You add another seat, you pay $1,000. You can add trained admin services from $5,000 to $20,000 a year. We also have a capital markets team that finds debt and equity for our customers for a percentage of the transaction. So if we raise $10 million, we charge 1%. That's a $100,000 fee. Groundbreaker gets 40% of that through our partnership. So where do we find customers? It's really through their education network. It's a very highly networked community. So we go through service providers. We're on a lot of blogs. We're on podcasts. We're going to events, and also people who use our software partner with other people and bring them into the tool automatically. So we have traction. This $1.3 billion was capital that was funded through the Groundbreaker software last year, and $700 million distributed. In ARR, we're about 400K right now across 140 customers, and we have really healthy unit economics to continue growing. We're seeing good net revenue retention and logo retention. Our customer base are small real estate operators. So think of this as SMB, maybe a little bit consumer versus necessarily like B2B enterprise. So these are healthy numbers there. And where we are now is we're getting 10 new customers a month on a consistent basis, and we have product market fit. We're going to get to 2.7 million in ARR in the next 2 years by continuing to do what we're doing, investing in sales and marketing, so that we can expand that customer growth from 10 customers a month to 30 customers a month, and then we'll hit this number. What we're going to do on the product and on our roadmap to do that is by going product led and making it so people can buy our software right off of the website and deploy it on their own. That will lead to an increase in the funnel. We're also going to be able to integrate the software with different systems that people are using and continue to develop the software for our customers and the feedback that they're getting. Competitively, we're the provider that has the best price point, the best ease of use, and the best level of customer service against all the other companies that sell into the space. So our long-term vision for what we want to be involves being this core investment management software, stacking on professional services, getting into the capital stack by being able to place capital.
Jake, I'm going to cut you off there just because you're a little bit over your time. But we can move into the Q&A. I'm sure they have questions about your deal terms and all that. So whenever you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and start that.
Thank you.
Mike, you want to start?
Yeah, thank you, David. So of the customers that you're converting, are they customers that are more on Excel or more that are using other platforms? And then just a short answer to that, and then a really quick follow-up to that is, I don't know if I quite understand the differentiation between you and the other people. Like, what is it specifically that you guys do that would separate you from the list that you showed?
Yeah, so most customers that come on are using Excel to begin with, not other platforms.
Got it. And then how do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the market? Like, specifically, what do you do that they do not?
So it's really in terms of service, which I will say is hard to sell. Our team is providing white glove service and helping investors get acclimated to the platform. And then we do have that managed services component that we sell, where we operate the software and do tasks for our customers, kind of like an outsourced team, which is a unique differentiator. All the other platforms also, they don't have any access to capital. They're not bringing capital to the table. They're also pricing based on the equity on the platform. So it discourages people from adding more deals and more investors, whereas ours is just a flat price.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I like where you're going. I like your background for this. My biggest, concern, well, a couple of concerns. Number one, you're asking 4 million on this pre-series A. What's your valuation?
So yeah, we'd be looking at an 8 million pre-money.
All right, yet your revenue in 2 years is only 2.7 million.
No, our revenue is 400,000 in ARR.
400,000 annual. Well, what's your revenue in 2 years?
Oh,
Because 400,000 ARR is even worse. Goes the wrong direction.
Sorry. In 2 years, we're projecting on the software to hit 2.7 million. We don't know how much our admin services or our transaction revenue is going to bring because it's bumpy. So I didn't want to throw that into our projection.
Yeah, well, I think you may have done yourself a disservice from an angel point of view, which I'm representing an angel group. Your numbers don't compute in terms of the valuation relative to your revenue, and it becomes almost a lifestyle business. But I think you have a lot more potential, so I think you're screwing yourself, said it in my way.
What kind of number would you think it should be?
I don't know the answer, but if you have 3 revenue streams, I would develop your P&L based upon 3 routes to revenue and make legitimate assumptions and test them out by, some mechanism in the field. You can make an assumption of X dollars per transaction, Y dollars per, legal contract. I mean, that's what I was doing in the businesses that I was in. So I really think that there's an opportunity. Somebody put in and go into Asia. I think you actually not necessarily go into Asia, but look at the Asian community, which does a lot of the deals with small investment pools in the United States. So there may be an opportunity for partnerships there. So whoever put that into I think that's a good way to look at things.
Okay.
So we're going to cut the Q&A off there, but thank you for that, Jake. We're going to move on to the next one, but we'll make the connections afterward. So next I want to bring up Bowie. Daniel.
Everyone needs to hydrate, but most people are bad at doing it. We've got a yellow pea problem. Over 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, and the existing products in the market don't support the health-conscious modern consumer. They're full of sugar and sweeteners. They can only be added into water, and they're made of unsustainable packaging that's killing the planet. The challenge is that electrolytes stay salty, so all of these other hydration products are loaded with sugar sweeteners, and questionable flavors to mask that saltiness. We're Buoy, and we invented the Hydrating Wellness Drops, the first unflavored functional beverage enhancer that can be added into any type of drink. No sugar, no sweeteners, only healthy functional ingredients, 40 servings per bottle. It's designed to make hydration a habit you want to keep. So what makes Buoy so special? First, it's the cleanest hydration on planet Earth. Next, it can be added into any type of drink. You can squeeze Buoy in your coffee in the morning, your tea in the afternoon, or even your beer and cocktails at night. And every bottle has the electrolyte equivalent of 13 sports drinks, making it much more convenient and more sustainable compared to the alternatives. If you look at Buoy compared to our competitors, three main differentiators. One is the form factor. This liquid squeeze form is much more convenient than the powder packets and tablets. No sugar, no sweeteners, makes Buoy much healthier than all of the alternatives. Buoy is the only one that can be added into any type of drink, 40 servings per bottle, and a very competitive price per serving. In the past 12 months, we've done $729,000 in revenue. We've got a nationwide presence in over 3,500 CVS locations, actually about to be 4,200. And we're launching with 3,000 Walgreens stores in November. We're currently talking to Target. We've just pitched Walmart, and we're working to get into the natural grocery section like Whole Foods and Sprouts. Over 1,500 5-star reviews on Amazon, over 840 subscribers. We just launched our subscription-centric website, and we're projecting a revenue this year of 1.6 million. Really good margins across the board, over 80%. Retail, D2C, Amazon, and wholesale are our 4 main revenue streams. So if you look at who's really buying super clean, unflavored electrolytes, it turns out a lot of different people are. Not only, this is electrolytes for more than sports, right? So not only for active and health conscious people, but broader groups that our competitors can't so easily go after, like people with chronic illnesses who are actually our best customers, elderly, party crowd, or really anyone that wants to add electrolytes and be more hydrated while drinking a beer or a cocktail. And then our demographics skew female, really moms with a little bit more disposable income to spend as they're shopping. For every bottle sold on our website, we give one away to someone living with a chronic illness. And our go-to-market strategy can really be distilled down to 2 main things: initiating our marketing efforts by prioritizing our spend on those groups that are unique to us, and expanding our distribution, mainly retail distribution, to funnel our best customers to become subscribers on our own website. We already have over 40% of our orders coming from repeat customers on Amazon, and that's without any customer nurturing efforts. So we know that the people that like Buoy love Buoy, and they continue to buy it. My name's Daniel. I'm the CEO. I've got 2 other co-founders, Cole and Eddie. Cole's our Chief Revenue Officer. Eddie's our Chief Marketing Officer. We've got some notable advisors on the team as well, including my older brother, Jordan, who's created his own startup now worth over 100 million in the CPG space. The market is really booming. This is not the sports drink market, but just the electrolyte drink mix market is set to grow to over 2 billion by 2026, really by just focusing on our customers like people with chronic illnesses and not going head to head in the sports section. We can achieve an exit goal of over 200 million. We're already a profitable business, but we're raising external capital to fuel rapid growth to get to an exit point in the next 4 or 5 years. And if you look at our revenue projections over the next 5 years, we'll become a $50 million per year business, really by focusing on the retail and D2C channels, focusing on growing our own subscriber base and retail expansion. We've already raised our initial target for this round of 700,000, led by the New York Angel Group. Other investors now include the East Carolina Angels, Hawaii Angels, Vidosh, St. Louis Angels, Thai SoCal Angels, and the Stable, who's also actually a group helping us get into Target. All this money is really being spent for marketing to build some brand awareness and start to really scale the brand. To date, we haven't really spent any marketing money, so that 729,000 revenues just come from existing channels. Our exit strategy is to be acquired by a CPG giant within the next 5 years. Liquid IV was acquired. Our 2 direct competitors, Liquid IV and Noon, were both acquired by CPG giants in the last couple of years for north of 200 million. We're going to follow the same path, but ultimately, hopefully get to over 200 million. And with that, we bring you the opportunity to invest in the company, bringing healthy functionality to all of your favorite drinks. Welcome to the future of hydration. We'll take questions now.
Yeah, it was perfectly 5 minutes. So we'll go ahead and start your 3 minutes of Q&A right now.
I mean, I'm more than happy to start. I happen to know Daniel. We did look at them, and we had shown some interest. We did not invest though. mainly because we don't do a lot in CPG, but I personally think it makes sense. The issues for you, Daniel, are brand, which you have a good brand guy, and distribution. I'd also look at government contract. My only other comment, I think your revenues are reasonable. I think your valuation is reasonable. I think you have a good presentation, except I still don't like the tagline getting rid of yellow P, and neither did the Marines, to which I presented down there, just in my opinion.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling that out. And yeah, actually, since hearing that feedback from your group a couple months ago, we have sort of toned that down.
Good.
So you'll see that on the website a little bit, but it's not really front and center, right?
Yeah,
So
but I like your product, actually. I mean, it's good. I wish you luck. I'll turn it over to Mike.
appreciate it.
A little bit of irony here. I also know Bowie, and Daniel, I think you met my partner Luke from Ember Company. But either way, I also like this. What I would like to hear about though is all the metrics seem right, and we do a lot of consumer. All the metrics seem right. You know, the profit margin, the retention, all that. Marketing is just a disaster right now in the consumer space.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to get this product out there? What's your plan?
Good question. So we're focusing on the customers that are unique to us right now, the ones that are our best customers. So people with chronic illnesses, since day one, they've reached out with touching stories about how Bowie's great for them. So I'm going to share with you guys in the next couple of weeks our first marketing campaign, which is called the To Be Seen campaign, to help people share their stories with chronic illnesses. The whole goal of this is we're doing unique marketing. We're not dumping money into Facebook ads or the typical social media kind of black hole. As far as ads go, we're really doing unique content and engaging stories and really spotlighting our customers so that they spread the word. And lucky for us, our customers, people with chronic illnesses, have the best word of mouth. And so by just really, connecting with them in organic ways, we can gain a lot of customers in a cheap way and have customers for life. And so that's really the premise of where our marketing is headed, right? It's doing unique stunts similar to the way that Liquid Death has made a name for themselves. Unique, engaging content and stories, not in a way that breaks through the noise and isn't just another ad that people flip through as they're going through their Instagram or TikTok.
So Daniel, I'll give you one more compliment. Had you said Facebook and Instagram, that would have been the kiss of death for anybody. So community is absolutely what's working. I've tried your product. I like it. We should follow up. I think we were supposed to talk last month anyway.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, looking forward to a follow-up, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Good to see you, Daniel.
Yeah, that'll conclude the Q&A. Thanks, Daniel, for that. And we'll move on to Autosnap.
All right, quick intro about myself. I'm Dan Gardner, co-founder of Autosnap. My partner and co-founder, Howard Gardner, is also on the call as well. So let's jump right in. Autosnap is car shopping accelerated. We're an automotive ad tech company, and we're disrupting the way that people shop for cars when they respond to ads. We make it easier for shoppers to find and buy the car they want. And at the same time, we're helping dealers sell more cars while also improving their return on ad spend. We're solving the issue of broken ads and broken shopping experiences. We're seeking our first outside investment of $500,000 to gain market traction and build out the rest of our platform. Dealers are spending billions on advertising that fails to help shoppers easily find and buy the car they want. So a little bit about the problem, broken ads. Everyone's familiar with this. If you shop for a car, you've seen really bad dealership ads. And the problem is they don't engage shoppers, they're distracting. But if a shopper did click on one of these ads, they would be also taken to a broken post-click shopping experience, namely the dealership website, which has a high shopper drop-off rate and performs very poorly. Because of these two issues, there's a lot of wasted dealer ad spend across a multitude of shopping destinations. And so jumping into the solution, the first thing we're doing is solving that first problem of broken ads. We're creating beautiful agency quality vehicle ads on Facebook, on Instagram. They can be used on Google or on cars.com or the dealership website. They're used everywhere that a dealer spends their ad budget. Once a shopper clicks on one of our amazing ads, they're sent to an entirely new shopping experience that's hosted by Autosnap. And because of these two pieces, the pre-click and the post-click, we're able to collect a lot of data. And we're going to use that data to give the dealers a software suite that allows them to further optimize their ad spend and see the value in this platform. Now, the key note about the platform itself is that no one is doing all of this under one roof, and all of these three pieces that we're doing are under the same platform. And that creates a lot of synergistic value, not only in the shopper journey, but also for the dealership. So one thing you can see that we're doing is personalization. And this means that if a dealership is going to run an ad for a car to different audiences, the ad doesn't have to look the same. We're tailoring it to the demographic of that audience and thus increasing the engagement. Let's walk through the experience as a whole. So after we're generating these beautiful agency quality ads that are customized for the brand with the Audi font and a custom Audi background, they're being run out on Facebook. And once a shopper clicks, they're taken to our new experience, which offers so much more than a dealer website can and increases the engagement and allows us to gather data. So as you've seen, we're creating agency quality ads, but in depth, we're also enhancing those ads with need to know information about the car. So you can see vehicle features here. And we're also creating unlimited ad sets that are generated instantly for different platforms. So right now, a dealer is sending out the same ad to cars.com that they would Facebook, but the problem is they're different platforms. So we have to size the ad differently. We have to enhance it differently. Our traction, we have 130K ARR. We've got a franchise dealership base of 35 customers, and our customer retention is very high. We have a lot of OEM brands that we work with, and we also work with a lot of industry destination partners like Carfax, Cars.com, Car Gurus. We have a team that's very in-depth in terms of automotive knowledge, a lot of experience. And we're raising, like I mentioned, $500,000 for 12 months in a C+ round with a $5 million valuation in order to scale to 200 dealers by around this time next year and achieve that $1 million ARR benchmark. We're going to extend our platform with new features and capabilities and develop tech for full ad experiences. And we like to focus on selling primarily to dealer groups because we think there's a unique value proposition. And that's it.
Great. So you had about 30 seconds left over, actually. So we'll give you a little bit extra time there for Q&A. Whenever Mike or David, you want to get that started?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kick it off. We've seen several of these at TCA. I've used Car Gurus. Tell me, how do you work with Car Gurus first?
Sure. So we syndicate directly to Car Gurus. We create the ad for the dealer in our platform, and then we send it out to Car Gurus directly to be displayed to the shopper.
All right, so tell me how you, now let's say I'm Coastal Jeep, okay? I'm the ad manager. Tell me how you're gonna sell me on using Autosnap.
We can increase your shopper engagement by a huge factor, anywhere from 30 to 80% with the service that we have in market today, which is only the first piece, by the way, of this full platform that we plan to build. The second factor is—
So do you increase my engagement mainly because you make the ads better looking, or you do something else?
Currently, it's because we make the ads much better looking, and that drives up the shopper engagement. But once we finish building the platform, we'll have the whole other half, which is the experience that they have once they click on that ad.
Okay.
And our preliminary testing on that has been very, very positive, in the range of 80 to 90% improvement with the full platform tested.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
How many customers do you have now?
Currently around 35 franchise dealerships. And that includes 3 dealer groups, one in Austin, one in Houston, and one that's kind of Central Texas.
Got it. Full disclosure, I don't know much about this industry, so I'll just say that it's a pretty antiquated area mostly. They're still doing a lot of radio, they're still doing a lot of stuff like that. So I can see, the desire to move to something that's a little more user-friendly for the new consumer.
My biggest concern, though, is competition for ad spending. I mean, it's a very congested area. You have competition, and I don't really see anything truly unique other than the relationships you'll build with the intermediaries like Car Guru or Auto Vitel or whoever else is out there, and having a better looking ad.
Sure.
Can you comment on that?
Absolutely. So the first point is that no one is really even solving the first problem that we have in market today, which is making ads look great for every online shopping destination. No one's doing that piece alone. There are people who are trying to kind of do the post-click experience stuff, but they're not in the automotive industry. And so being able to combine both of those pieces into a single platform is a vastly impactful value proposition.
Yeah, do you also do ads specifically for a deal that's in Coastal Jeep, just for argument's sake? Would you do a separate platform for me on my website, or do you not?
Yes, we have custom ad templates and themes that are fully customizable to match the dealer's style and brand.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And with that, we'll end the Q&A. Thank you so much, Dan.
Yep. Stop sharing here.
Perfect. And so next we'll have Larry from Mobile Monkey come up.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Larry Kim. I'm with Mobile Monkey. We do sales outreach, automation, and B2C prospecting data as a service. And the challenge that we are addressing is what we believe to be the biggest problem in sales and marketing funnels for mid-market customers, which is sales outreach. That is totally broken. That these companies don't even know how to follow up on their inbound leads, let alone do any outbound prospecting. And if they were trying to scale this up, it's not cheap either. This is thousands and thousands of dollars per sales rep. And so the idea here is simple. It's just sales outreach automation and data for these mid-market customers as a service. Conceptually, you can think of this as a software product that kind of automates away a lot of the sales outreach functions of an SDR or a BDR, following up on all your inbounds, qualifying, converting, doing lead research and targeted outbound, that kind of stuff. So we are democratizing the power of the inside sales model to companies of all sizes. Now, this is a very powerful platform with super easy to use product-led growth, consisting of various inbound and outbound technologies. On the inbound sales outreach capabilities, it's like when someone visits your website, we have this magical way of figuring out who visited your site, and being able to route that into an email outreach sequence automatically. And we can do that for people who visited your Facebook page or people who visited your Instagram page. We also have targeted, about 50 million records of consumer data based on like consumer interests, like what people who own pools, people who love dogs, this kind of stuff. It's not like job title targeting or firmographic targeting. And then you take these leads and you run them through these super easy to use funnels that send emails and text messages and kind of figures out if they're a fit or not for a deal. This is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. There are other sales outreach tools on the market, but there are two things that make us very different. First of all, I would say that all of the almost all of the companies out there that do sales outreach service enterprise customers. So, companies like ZoomInfo, SalesLoft, Groove Outreach, these are servicing revenue teams with like 50 or 500 or 5,000 salespeople. Our target customer may or may not even have a sales team. So our focus is mid-market. And secondly, that our data is completely different. It's B2C data, so targeting based on interests rather than like LinkedIn like data. The data is pretty nice moat. 15 million contacts and counting with 10,000 different ways of segmenting the audiences, and then seamless integration with our email outreach automation software tools. But one of the key differentiators of this is that it just really works. This is one of our customers, Travel Resorts of America. They do like campgrounds that are RV accessible, and they're doing a combination of inbound and outbound sales outreach using our software and data. And they are just printing money. So they're sending hundreds of thousands of dollars, sending hundreds of thousands of outreaches and generating hundreds of thousands of incremental revenue from those campaigns. And there's tens of millions of customers like this. The company is, has a very capable team of about 25 people, with key hires in all the important departments: engineering, sales, marketing, product, and customer success. I've got about 3,000 paying customers, and these are the use cases, demographics, and industries that we support. The company has grown from, we released a product in January of last year. We are over like 2.25 million ARR, growing at 25% month-over-month compound growth rate. We're profitable and growing quickly, and this is the summary. You can just read it yourself because I'm out of time. Let's go to questions.
Yep. Go ahead and start the 3-minute Q&A. David and Mike, whoever wants to go first.
Mike, you want to start?
Sure. Is there any particular industry where you're seeing more traction than other industries? And actually, even before that, what's the business model? I'm sorry if I missed it. Just how do you make money? How do you charge customers?
Yes, these are the industries where we do really well. It's like, if someone sells a education thing that's like $50,000, or a legal lawsuit, or a recruiter placing a job, like these are, it's not like selling cookies, okay? Like, so it has to be one of these industries. And then in terms of the pricing model, the more we send, like, it's just based on how much outreach is being done. So it's just totally related to the value of the product.
So it's like a per click for the outreach that you do?
Percent.
There are a lot of other CRM systems that do follow-ups and retargeting. I don't see them on this list, but what makes you different? What's unique about you? And that's number one. And number two, you're going after a market segment that tends to be behaviorally less interested in spending time and energy to divert the owner's resources to doing sales and marketing. Not that they shouldn't do that, but they are. They don't focus on it. They're just so busy doing their normal stuff. So how are you going to get to all these people with a message that says, this is why we're really different, and why are you different?
So this is not a CRM. CRM is like, that tracks the information of your existing customers, and
Well, you're in sales outreach and automation. That puts me into the CRM in my brain.
It's just it's not a well-supported use case. Though conceptually, people use like, this is like a thing for you might have 10,000 leads that you're trying to outreach to. 10 of them become customers, and that's conceptually what I would end up putting into the CRM. That's sort of like, but most of our customers don't even have these advanced CRMs. Like that's who these guys are selling to. And then in terms of just competitive differentiators, we talked a little bit about that. It's like, these are like, it's like Facebook like targeting of interests and behaviors, okay? But through targeted cold outreach, or targeted email outreach, and that's just never been possible before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'll do our Q&A. Thank you so much, Larry, and we'll follow up with you after.
Thank you very much.
And I misspoke at the beginning. We actually have 2 more companies, so that's 9 total. I apologize for that. So we're gonna bring Ninja up next. JR.
So I'm Jared Guerrieri, the CEO of Ninja and co-founder. And we've been developing a product from 2016 for remote work and content creators. So it's basically fintech meets integrated workstream collaboration in a web and work 3.0 world. So what we're doing is we're connecting people, collaborating with people, and they're getting paid in our platform. And how do we do that? So the problem, millions of content creators have a hard time capitalizing on their content and getting paid for it. So for instance, I'm a guitar teacher and I put my guitar lessons on YouTube. I have to rely on likes and advertisement to bring in money, revenue. So what we do is you can create a VIP paid group, or you could have a public group and then charge for content that you put on that group on a case-by-case basis. So we'll get into that more. And you could pay them in our platform with any kind of crypto or PayPal or a MasterCard Visa. So the solution we've created, the Ninja solution, is to integrate a payment platform with a collaboration suite and seamlessly delivered paid content and services in one platform. So that's what we're doing. Basically, we could have services like I develop software for somebody and we collaborate with it, and then I could give it to you and I could create an NFT and you could license it from me, or you could buy it and then license it from other people via an NFT in that case. The addressable market, all in total with content creators and also B2C, B2B, is around $207 billion. The intersections of the three markets is unified communications, team collaboration, and conferencing, which is more including the conferencing is more of the collaboration side of the conferencing, getting to that total addressable market of 2.7. Use cases, content creators sell directly in groups or charge monthly fees for VIP chat groups. So for instance, kind of like if you had a Slack group or a WeChat group or a WhatsApp group, you don't capitalize off of that. So you could actually have a group and put premium content and people could watch the first 30 seconds of it. If they liked it, then they would pay for it. They could subscribe monthly, or they could pay for one-offs. If you're charging $1.99 or $10.99 for one piece of content, you could actually deliver it in that group. And the beauty of it is we have all the platforms. So if you actually are doing something on your mobile phone, there's no time, you just upload it instantly, you drop it into that group and it's there real time live. There's no prepping it, there's no anything extra to do to edit it and whatnot. You can, but it's just giving you access to it instantly on the road. Create NFTs, like I said before, you could actually create the NFTs and then be able to license or sell your services, your software to third parties. Also, we're reducing the amount of application you use on a daily basis. So we're combining in the Ninja Suite, collaboration platform suite, we combine 5 applications. We give you all the screen sharing, the payment platform, we give you the productivity tools to be able to send large and transfer large files, chat groups, private and public chat groups, and of course, what we're doing now, which everybody does, a glorified teleconference communication product. So it's basically streamlining your productivity to give you 40% more efficiency from our customers that we've had in place for a while. And the savings is about 60% savings versus using 4 or 5 different tools or paid services to be able to create everything that you see here in Ninja. Technology and user traction. So like I said, this is not a Johnny come lately to the remote workers. We started working on this product in 2016 and building our technology stack. So it's basically the fintech meets the collaboration work stream, and it's great adoption. Even adoption we have in sectors where your small, medium businesses are using freelance workers and they're having problems paying those workers because they can't take a Venmo because they're in another country. It's too small to send a wire. You could actually pay in Ninja and you could pay them in crypto right instantly. Mobile and desktop versions. This is patented, multi-patented product. We have a million plus. I think we're almost at 2 million downloads. This slide is a little old. 750,000 subscribers, 75,000 monthly active users, and we're putting on about 1,500 new users per day. Depending on where we spend our ad money, we've gotten up to 3,200 new users per day, and we're seeing 50% of those from the US and 50% of those from other countries. Security, we've also went out of our way to get the HIPAA and SOC 2 compliance, so we are doing small municipalities, for governments, and we also are doing telemedicine as well in this sector to send large MRI files and CAT scan files. Subscriber growth, it's been steady. Monetization basically is a freemium and premium subscriptions that you get in at. We give you a 30-day free trial, and then you transition to a paid version. We have a few different tiers. The in-app purchases allow you to, a free user, to use all the services for 1 day for a 24-hour single day pass. You could upgrade to premium packages. And there's also transaction fees on the content creators' content that they would sell to a third party. So if I'm watching or I'm in a group and I want to buy content, I would buy the content, and then Ninja would make an 18% fee on that. Our
Yeah.
LTL.
I'm
Yes.
gonna cut you there. You're a little over time, but we have time for a couple questions. I just want to make sure our panelists have time to ask anything they have on their brains now. So we'll give it about 2.5 minutes here.
Okay, so
And-
basically what we're looking for, so we're doing a Series B for 3 million. We've already raised 11 million to date. So go ahead, Q&A.
Great. Yep. So David and Mike, whenever you're ready.
David, please.
Yeah, you've raised $11 million, yet, no offense, but you haven't really you've gotten far, but not that far in terms of revenue. So what is your revenue in 2021, 2022 year to date? And in that revenue, you mentioned you have 75,000, 2 million downloads and 75,000 active users. Are these active users all paying, and how much?
Okay, so our active users are not all paying. We have about $20,000 a month in recurring revenue. We're on target for about 1.5 million this year. And we just started turning on revenue, I would say 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's been freemium and beta testing till we've spent the money to build our technology stack out primarily.
And how are you going to get, are you selling to other platforms or to people, content creators on their website? In other words, you are the pick, axe, and shovel and jeans to the miners, or are you setting up your own platform?
So we have our own platform. So we're using ERC20. So, it would be sent the same way you would send it on a MetaMask wallet or a Coinbase wallet. So the transaction is kind of normal, but we're marketing towards, we have resellers that are selling our SaaS platform in the US. We have 2 major resellers. And then we also advertise and market to the content creators to let them know that our platform is available to sell premium content on. So they create groups, put content on to their existing fan base, and that's how we market to them.
All right, thank you.
What did you say your monthly revenue was?
About 20,000 recurring revenue right now. We're on target for about 1.5 million this year for revenue for 2022.
How do you get from 240 to 1.5 million?
Well, we have a few contracts that are SaaS based, and they're like 100 licenses, 1,000 licenses. So those are we're kind of polishing them up now. We have a couple of resorts that have 200 licenses where they're going to use it for their communications and all their file transfer from their US based entity to the different islands, because islands don't have very bad cell services. So their data is good, but there's no cell service. So text messaging doesn't work. So with the groups and everything, ours is all cloud based, and it's data driven. So we can get them and deliver them the information quickly.
Great. It looks like that's all the time we have for the Q&A, but thank you so much, JR. We're going to move on to our last presenter. We might go a little bit over time here, so just bear with us, and we'll try to get through it as quickly as we can. But we'll have James from Prefix come up next.
Hi, Shane.
Good.
Off we go. Hi, I'm James Bilodeau, founder and CEO of Prefix. I'm here filling out the remainder of a subscribed C+ round. We just added an extension to it, and we're leading right into our Series A raise that we're going to start next month. To put it simply, Prefix eliminates the hassle of home maintenance and saves our homeowners between 30 and 50% off home maintenance costs. Average homeowner spends $3,000 and 30 hours a year on what's fundamentally a broken process. of unreturned calls, service windows, exploited pricing, and general confusion on what ongoing maintenance is needed in their home. It's one of the biggest consumer problems there is. Until now, there hasn't been much real innovation addressing the actual problem. There are two incumbent models that have tried. Marketplaces, which are funded by contractors, may lower search costs. They really address none of the problems that we just mentioned. They use disparate, independent 1099 contractors that simply can't control for quality or create trusted relationships. And then there are home warranties, which if anyone's ever experienced them, are really just bad insurance. They make their margins by using 1099 contractors too, particularly ones that are willing to be undercompensated by this insurance or by denying claims to customers for various reasons. Neither model creates trusted relationships or the ability to monetize them. So how do we fix it? We make it as simple as possible for our members. With Prefix, you get your own dedicated home manager. We hire primarily military veterans with impeccable records and a strong work ethic. If anything breaks, you just call, text, or email. Your home manager takes care of it, usually for just a small copay. So no online searches, no contractor blind dates, and no wondering if you've gotten the best possible price. Your home manager also comes to your home and performs a 30-point preventive maintenance twice a year. And by 30 points, I mean clean your AC condenser and condensate line, change your air and water filters, flush the sediment out of your water heater, clean the lint out of your dryer outtake, sanitize your washer and dishwasher with a natural cleansing agent, change all your batteries and your smoke alarms, and I'll stop there as we're running over time here. For the minority of things that your home manager can't do, you get one of our vetted contractors that we manage all the way through to completion. You get low negotiated rates with no markup. We created a completely new model of home care by focusing on three main pillars. First, what I call our human code, or the repeatable processes around training and motivating our full-time employees. Second is our technology platform, goes hand in glove with our unique operating model. Third is a way in which we create operational density, which provides a major competitive advantage over any incumbent in this space. There's a lot to unpack in each of these areas, so I'm not even going to try in 5 minutes, but happy to schedule time separately for anyone who's interested. I will touch on our tech platform briefly. Our technical code goes hand in glove with our human code. Let's see if I can get down here real quick. It's got the equivalent of Amazon one-click to enroll in the service. Homeowners are able to see all the work we've done, even how much money we've saved them in their home health report. It's like a EMR, electronic medical record for the home. And the data we collect means we know our home managers come with everything they need to fix things right the first time. We've got really granular data on their performance. So by solving one of the biggest consumer problems there is, we earn a trusted relationship with the homeowner. And home maintenance isn't the extent of our business model any more than books was that of Amazon's. So by doing the work of solving the broken home maintenance process, we fund the creation of an operating system for the home and trusted sticky relationships with homeowners. This enables us to offer a number of other higher margin services, both to consumers and to industry partners. In terms of direct-to-consumer services, we start with margins of 30% through a monthly subscription and co-payments. It's $40 a month and $40 co-payments for the average repair. We're now increasing those margins to 50% over the coming months as we continue to offer other higher margin services. Late last year, we stood up our own full-service HVAC installation company, sort of an Amazon basics of HVAC to complement our core home manager primary care service. It's very high margin, utilize much of our existing infrastructure. We do it far less than for incumbent companies. We continue to expand into other services, the preventive maintenance of our existing service, ability to install and maintain things like leak detection, lowers underwriting risk for insurers. We're now partnered with a major insurance provider and rolling out rapidly in Austin and San Antonio. We'll be launching solar lead gen and maintenance next in this increasingly energy constrained market. We solved the last mile problem. It's the soft costs of solar that has constrained solar adoption to date. We have like 2% solar penetration in Texas. A relentless focus on solving the real customer problem in this space. It also helps us realize an important part of our business model. The same data that helps us serve our individual customers so well, it's highly valuable in aggregate, both to consumers and industry partners. The data we already collect enables us to determine cost to own and market share for all appliances and systems in the home. Companies like Consumer Reports, JD Power, they make hundreds of millions of dollars from initial quality assessments. Our data is better.
So
At over
ju-
3.2 million in annualized revenue. We're now 6 times greater than at the start of the pandemic and accelerating. We've averaged 10% month-on-month growth since the beginning of 2022. And
James,
growing
I'm
quickly.
gonna stop you there real quick. You're a little over the 5 minutes. I want to just give our panelists some time to ask questions. I know we're a minute over now, so
Sure.
let's go ahead and do that now.
What are you looking for in terms of an ask and your valuation?
Sure. I'm going to scroll quickly down. It's a post-money safe, which has a 12.75 million pre-money valuation, 20% discount. And so it's an 18 million post-money.
18 million post on revenue of $3 million. That's what you have to
3.2. 3.2.
And you're
Yep.
looking for 4.5 mil?
We've already filled the 4.5. We just added 750K and we're starting to fill it pretty quickly.
Got it. How do you make sure that the quality of the people you have is equivalent to the quality that I would find, separately using the sources that I would have?
Yep. We have full-time employees. So we've maintained an NPS of 85, which we think is pretty unique in this industry. And we invested, and this is like a separate conversation around what I call human code, how we hire and train. We hire primarily military veterans, train them up and have really granular KPIs to ensure somebody I haven't seen in 6 months is doing it.
Final question. Where are you located? What areas do you serve?
We're in Austin, San Antonio, and with strategic partners, we're going to get to instant profitability in Houston, and we launch Houston next month, and then Dallas in October.
Yeah, when you're in California, let me know. This is something my friends and I have talked about because we're
Yeah, that's great.
We don't like to do it. My wife wants me to fix things, and I don't want to do it at all.
Yep. And just to, as we think about where we're going to be, I mean, these are just 2 strategic partners, but this is the coverage that they have, and we're strategic for both of them.
Okay, thanks.
Great.
I don't have any questions. David asked the question, same questions I was thinking. So
All right. Thanks.
Great.
Looks
Awesome.
good. Looks good, James. But I will add though, that this is like, I totally convinced that this is a problem. And I had the same question David had, which is, how are you ensuring that the quality is there to justify people making the shift? So
Quick answer to that question is everyone's done it in the wrong order. They've used a consensus model around Uber of home services. We started with the human code about how we hire and train the right kind of people. And then we added the tech on top and we've achieved the results that you've seen. I can tell you a little bit about the insurance company that's working with us. They are the highest rated in customer service, excruciating due diligence. They don't partner with just anybody.
Great. Thank you so much, James. And I want to thank our panelists and everybody in our audience, our presenters today. I know we had a tight schedule, so we weren't able to get to any audience questions, but you can email me directly at Shane Pinak, that's ShanePinak at 10capital.group with your questions. We're also going to be following up with everybody with a recording. And so anybody who is watching this recording now, you can also use that email to send me any questions or interests you have in any of the presenters. Also, if you'd like to be on a future panel. But with that, we're going to close it out. Hall, did you have any last words you wanted to add?
I want to thank all the presenters and the investors today. It was a great session. Appreciate your time, and we'll be back in touch for follow-ups. Appreciate
You
your
want
taking
to stay
time.
online, Mike? I don't know if Mike, I can stay online for a little while, Hall, if you want. Just
Yeah.
do a deep brief, because otherwise it gets to be a little gnarly.
Sure, we're gonna have to close this room out because this is a webinar, but we'll send you a separate link for that in your email shortly.
Yep.
Send me now. You can't keep this open for a second?
No, because it's a webinar, it's a little different. So it's recording. And we'll have to just do a separate meeting room, if that makes sense.
No.
Okay, we'll send it over. We'll send it over. Don't worry. Just keep.
All right, I'll wait around.
Okay, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everybody.